look at all this snow, Zach.
I don't have any snow over here. I'm not entirely sure what's up. There's something.
Did they do something to the road?
I mean, pretty clearly.
Huh. Well, you know what? We're actually here at the Indiana Department of Transportation, so maybe they can tell us?
Yeah, maybe they can tell us something about the science of how this stuff keeps everything clean and safe.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. Welcome to INDOT. I'm Zach.
I'm Emma.
We're from Agri Public Library. We were wondering if you guys could tell us who you are and what you do to help keep transportation working in Northeast Indiana.
Absolutely. I'm Hunter Petroviak. I'm the Public Relations Director for INDOT here.
And I'm Sarah Bausman. I am the District Maintenance Engineer. INDOT stands for the Indiana Department of Transportation. So we take care of state, U.S., and interstate highways all over the state of Indiana. We build them, we build those roads, we maintain those roads, and that includes taking care of snow and ice in the wintertime.
This area.
Take care of the entire northeast corner of the state. So
Wow.
There's all or part of 17 counties that we maintain.
So I'd guess about 2,500, 3,000, just how far back it is.
Tons?
Tons, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So at the back of the truck, there was a portion of the truck down at the bottom that was spinning around really, really fast, and the salt was hitting it. And the salt was spreading out because the different little fans that are on that little round thing, and that's called a salt spinner. As we were going back towards the front of the truck, down under the middle of the truck, there was a plow blade that was going up and down and back and forth. That's called an underbody blade, and that actually uses the weight of the truck to help bite into the ice or the snow that's really hard on the road that maybe not coming up as well as we'd like, and it actually uses the weight of that truck to dig in and just pry it off of the road. So that's one of our tools that we also use. Towards the front of the truck was the front plow, and that one the driver lifted up and down and went back and forth so we can push our snow however we want to push it, whichever direction we want it to go. Based on how that plow is turned. And then on the other side of the truck, we looked at the calcium tank, and that's where we hold the brown soy sauce looking stuff that is our salt booster. And that's what we use to pre-wet back at the spinner. And then inside the truck is really, really cool. That's where all the bells and whistles are. That's where there's an iPad in there that the driver actually takes out and does a walk around before they go out to load up their truck, just to make sure that truck is working the way we want it to before we get it out on the road. And that's really important because if you take a truck out that's not working, then you can't clean up the road, and that's not a good thing. One of the things we looked at out in our big salt barn were some different tanks that hold different stuff. So one of those was a brine tank. And what brine is, it's just salt and water in a certain percentage, and then we put that in the back of special brine spreaders, and those trucks go out before a storm and they will actually spray brine on the road. So sometimes when you go out on our roads, you'll see white lines going up and down the road, and just little tiny white lines all in a row. Those are brine lines, and we talk about those a lot on our social media page. The other material in the tank that we saw was calcium chloride, and that is basically salt booster. So that helps drop the temperature that the salt works at. And that's kind of a complicated way of saying it, is that it helps the salt work better when it's really super cold out.
Lunch. Snow inside.
We're making
Snow
ice cream.
inside. You know, we thought about actually doing that for this and couldn't find an ice cream maker. So this is just 2 pans of snow, nothing special. And we're gonna see how salt works a little bit. And we have a cup of salt from our salt pile in back. It's pretty much the same stuff as you see on your table at home. So this is something that the kids can grab from home and do that way. Basically, we're just gonna take some plain salt. So that's a lot of salt for a little bit of snow, but we're gonna see if that works faster, or we're also gonna take some and we're gonna get it wet and see what that does.
And you're just getting it wet with water?
Yep, this is just water.
Just water.
Water.
You can tell by the label that says water.
It says water. So we're just getting this wet. So this is kind of like the brine stuff that we have. It's a little bit different mixture, but it's pretty much still just wet salt. And if you see this, it still looks like that's not doing a whole lot, right? So when you pour this on between the water and the wet salt, it will actually start working a lot faster. So this is actually going to sink down in a lot faster than this will. And this is actually going to turn into just a solid mass of salt
Oh, geez.
because of the cold.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why we use extra stuff with our salt sometimes.
What is it about salt that has a melting property?
So the salt, it lowers the freezing temperature of the water. So it makes that temperature go a lot lower, and it works with the water that's created from the snow that's melted from the initial salt. So it's just a bunch of big chunks now. And it'll still melt the salt, melt the snow, but it'll take a little bit longer than the stuff with just the water and the salt.
That is really cool stuff. Well, thank you guys so much for having us in and showing us all around the salt barns and the truck and for this incredibly cool experiment.
Yeah, it was really awesome to see behind the scenes all the thought and technology that goes into making the road safe and keeping things functional in the midst of things like this.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming out, and we're looking forward to seeing you again soon sometime.